Has someone ever challenged you to something that they didn't know who are an expert at? If so, how did it turn out for you/them? I'm really good at archery. My friend and I rented him a bow at the local range and he wanted to bet me beers for every round. I told him repeatedly, no, you will not win. He could probably get lucky if we did 1-arrow shoot-offs, but he wanted to do proper 3-arrow rounds. He insisted. I drank for free all night. A neighbor on my block in Brooklyn challenged me to a pizza bake-off. I recently catered pizza for my daughter's school and word got around the neighborhood my pizza was pretty darn good. My first thought was, and what, this guy is a Brooklyn native, my pizza will be shite compared to his exclamation mark and what, but there was something about him bragging that I couldn't resist the challenge. He talked up how pizza was in his blood, how his dad ran the pizza place around the corner years ago. I remained silent and let my skills answer for themselves. I got a buddy to let us use one of Baker's Pride ovens at his restaurant. We even had total strangers try our pizzas. Every last person chose my pizza over his. I never mentioned to him that I've worked in pizza places almost every day for the last 30 years. I never mentioned that when I'm not working at a pizza place I'm making pizzas at home at least once every 2 days. I never mentioned that at 9 years old I knew that I wanted to be a pizza man. Here I am 45 and getting ready to start my own pizza business. Wasn't me, but there's a story about an old geotechnical engineer who used to work for the company I work for. Several senior staff had to attend a meeting with the client, and some government regulatory staff who were being awkward and not approving the design. This geotech guy is pretty much quiet the whole meeting. Throughout the discussion, the government guy keeps referencing this research document and shooting down anything anybody suggests. Near the end of the meeting, geotech asks government guy if he has the research paper with him. He responds yes and places it on the table. Geotech asks government guy who is the author of the paper? Then slides over a business card. Turns out it's geotech's own paper that government guy has been referencing to defend his argument. Government guy went bright red and apparently approved the design the same day. Some Japanese client that studied in France asked me for a translation job but wanted to change all my sentences to prove she was better than me at my own mother tongue. She ended up writing something grammatically correct but that sounded so horribly sexual that if you tried and googled the terms you would only find porn and erotic novels. I had to tell my boss she was forcing me to write porn, because it was for a mascara brand that was supposed to be sold in France, so he could stop her, and after that she stopped trying to best me. A local mall had a portable climbing wall with a make it to the top and win $100 side. The route was actually pretty challenging. As I walked by, the guy asked me if I'd like to try. Nobody has made it to the top. You think you can do it, buddy? At the time I was ranked top 12 climber in my age group and kind of laughed to myself. After taking my $100 I then proceeded to call the rest of my climbing team, and one by one they went to the mall and claimed their $100. After taking my $100 I then proceeded to call the rest of my climbing team, and one by one they went to the mall and claimed their $100. After the fourth person the guy got suspicious and took the sign down. We later told him we were all nationally ranked competition climbers and he got a good laugh. The company who owned the rentals was the one who lost the money, he just worked the booth and wasn't the one who lost the prize money. My landlord tried blaming me for damage to the kitchen cabinets but didn't know that I'm in construction and am very familiar with home building codes. They placed the cabinets too close to the stove and the glue that held the laminate had melted. When working as a teacher I beat a lot of students in Pokemon battles, cause they didn't think of me being like 15 years ahead of them in fighting experience. Noobs. Identical twins of Reddit who own a pet after living separately, What was your pet's reaction when it saw two owners? My sister's dog was confused for a second because we sound alike. But then he realized I wasn't her but similar, so he also adores me. Sometimes when I'm visiting and he gets in trouble with her, he comes to find me and climbs in my lap. He only weighs 100 pounds. Identical twin here. It's weird because my dog loves me but hates my sister. Like, when she comes around he growls at her and barely lets her touch him. I have no idea why. He isn't like this to the rest of my family or friends. Maybe he thinks she is an imposter? Lamau, we have no idea. Long time ago my grandfather had a dog that went with him to work the fields on his farm. He passed away and dog stayed with my father and his mother. Father's brother came up the driveway one day to visit, walking and looking like my pa. The dog went crazy in the house. She was barking and going from window to window. They finally let her out as he was walking up the steps to the porch. She ran up to him all excited until she saw it wasn't her master. It was like someone had kicked her. The tail went under and she slowly walked over to her bed and laid down in her sadness. Oh Scout, now stop that. And what? And Scout did the full cartoon stop, head sideways, and that whimper that sounds like a question mark. So his appearance wasn't mistaken by the dog at all, but he did confuse the hell out of him with the identical voice. My dad and my uncle were identical twins. Their voices sound so similar even my mom would get confused before the invention of caller ID. My dad passed away last year, and when my uncle came over the family beagle didn't notice, but when my uncle spoke he perked up. But then he would go and sniff him and get sad again. The first oddly specific AskReddit I am qualified to answer. My dog lost his mind when my twin came to visit. He excitedly dashed back and forth between the two of us, thrilled to see you both. Then again, he's a golden retriever so he does that with everyone. My twin and I have lived separately and together several times. My dog treated my sister and me like two separate members of the same family, but both our cats, one is mine, one is hers, have made it clear from the beginning the other twin is a second-class citizen. We have exactly the same voice, so when we visit each other there's about 1 minute of why are there two of you and then it's business as usual. No doubt be aware, the plans for development of the outlying regions of the galaxy require the building of a hyperspatial express route through your star system. And regrettably, your planet is one of those scheduled for demolition. The process will take slightly less than 2 of your Earth minutes. Thank you. And what?
Subscribe.
He said it.